between data feeds, and you just don't see them. And that, is very much the case, not talking about Tricolor necessarily, but in many of the situations we've seen where there's, roughly, I call it three main types of, call it double pledging or whatever you want to call it. One, where you have one loan that's pledged to more than one facility. A single receivable is pledged to securitization A and, warehouse B. And those two don't see each other because they're out of sight. And the second is the issue around VINs. Obviously, this is, has to do with secured loans, not unsecured loans. We have seen in the past where one VIN may be securing more than one loan. And in that type of scenario, it can very well be that a consumer has a car and has a receivable. That car gets repossessed, brought back onto the lot, sold to someone else, and a new loan is created, but the old loan is never erased. So now you have one piece of collateral, one VIN supporting two loans. And the other major bucket is the situation where you have just a fictitious VIN or a VIN that's on a vehicle that's in a junkyard, and it may be used across, multiple loans. It's just a purely fictitious VIN altogether. And those types of things, there are mechanisms, and they're not high tech. There are mechanisms to catch all those kinds of things. But generally on the ones that trigger, none of those are present, or they're not being done by someone who is, really, really doing it.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, I know that. Well, the VIN, vehicle identification number, that is, unique to every automobile out there, or should be. And when you buy a car, it has to go through somewhat of a bureaucratic administrative process through, I think usually it's the DMV of your particular state, right? As step one, I think. And that can take weeks, I think. I've heard
Well,
it taking.
It could take even longer because at least in the case of Tricolor was deputized by the state of Texas DMV to issue license plates and registration. So when we went into the office on that Monday, there was actually several very large stacks of license plates sitting around. And these are for people who bought a car and had not yet received a license plate or registration. We've been working with the state of Texas DMV, and they've been wonderful to work with, but now we are deputized to do that same activity. You can see not only was the company originating, selling, servicing, they were also issuing the license plates. Yeah, it's a pretty complete package.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of opportunity. We as a company, we want to keep consumers in their car. We want to keep them rolling. We want to give them a fair and transparent process for whatever it is that they're dealing with. And some people have cars that are in these repair shops, and you need to figure that out. Some of these people have bought cars and they never received a license plate or a registration. Imagine that. You just bought this car and you haven't received that, and you're way over your expiration date. There's a number of these things that fall way outside of our servicing mandate. But frankly, when you get to a situation like this, the servicer is the operational partner. We're the ones who are actually out in the world making things happen. And so these kind of non-servicing operations tend to accrue to us. And it just adds to the pile of things that need to get done in order to make sure that those consumers are able to actually use the vehicles that they're paying for.